Today, a beast has rolled into our workshop, the Triumph Tiger 800. Known for its power and adventure-ready spirit, this bike is here for a complete service. Before we begin, let's hear it roar one more time. The first step in this detailed service is to strip the bike down, starting with the seats and body panels. These components need to come off to give us full access to the heart of the bike. Next, we remove the petrol tank to access the airbox assembly. There are more than a dozen screws to undo. Once the airbox is out of the way, we can get to the throttle body. At first glance, everything looks clean on the outside, but let's dig deeper to see what's inside. That's the throttle body from the inside. A thorough clean will do the job. To protect the engine's internal components, we cover the heads with a clean cloth to shield them from dust and debris. Safety first. The bike is tied down with ratchet straps to ensure it's stable and secure on the lift. Once everything is in place, we jack up the front end to begin work on the front section of the bike. With the tire and mudguard out, this is how the Tiger looks before service, all stripped to the bone. We will be working on the cone set first. The handle has to be out of the way. Once that is out of the way, the lock nut is loosened. Then the fork mounts are undone so that the forks can be pulled out. Then the check nuts are removed to pull out the lower T-plate. That's just grease and dirt. Once that is cleaned, it's inspected for cracks and roughness. Seems okay. Just a layer of new grease will do. Lower T and its bearing go through a nice cleaning session. Once that is done, grease is applied. Post that we can put it all back in place. The fork oil was recently changed on this bike. We didn't have to check anything. The forks were placed back and the handlebar was back in its place. Next on the list is the front brake calipers. We take them apart, clean them thoroughly and reassemble them. This ensures that the functioning is at its peak performance. Once the calipers are ready, the front tire and brakes are reinstalled. It's time to bleed the front brakes. During this process, we discovered something unusual. Did you notice it? The right side brake disc has a wobble and needs alignment. We will have to send it out for repair. Now, we shift focus to the rear section. We first remove the rear tire to access the swing arm. The tie-down ratchet has been shifted to the front side of the bike. Our main objective here is to dismantle the swing arm and grease all the moving parts, including the swing arm bearings, rear shock mount and its sleeves. Once the old grease is wiped off, we spray some cleaner. The swing arm itself is wiped, especially where the chain runs through. It's time now to clean the rear shock mounts and sleeves. Next step is to grease them properly. We document every detail to ensure our biker is satisfied with the work. The before and after photos are being sent to the rider so that they understand what has been worked upon. Once cleaned and greased, the swing arm is reinstalled, followed by greasing the rear wheel bearings and servicing the rear brake calipers. Once that is done, we are now bleeding the rear brake. Next up are the spark plugs. These looked fine upon inspection and only needed a simple cleaning. After that, we moved on to the throttle body, giving it a detailed cleaning before reinstallation. This is how a clean throttle body should look like. With everything in place, the petrol tank is reconnected. Our next step is to calibrate the cylinders using a vacuum gauge. After the engine reaches optimal temperature, slight adjustments are made to get everything perfect. Once calibration is complete, the tank is disconnected, the airbox is mounted back, and the wiring is tidied up for a clean and professional finish. With the tank and seat reinstalled, we move on to the final steps. Finally, it's time to replace the engine oil. For this Tiger, we're using Schaeffer's 10W50 Premium 9000 oil. If you want to know why we choose this oil, message us on Instagram for a detailed video. It's worth watching. We don't just deliver the bike as is. Before handing it over, we ensure it's spotless and shining like new. Enjoy this ASMR bit of the final cleaning process.
See this.
That wraps up the full service of this Triumph Tiger 800. If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe,
Kyffs Customs.